I love beans, and I am definitely on a quest to make beans a major part of your life. And to that objective, I have a lentil polenta here. Instead of using cornmeal, we've used ground up lentils, uncooked, to make a delicious high protein, high fiber polenta that makes these wonderful little bites for your holiday entertaining. So let's get started. So I have about 300 grams of lentils that have been soaking in water for, it was overnight, but 8 hours at least. We're not going to cook these lentils separately. They're going to go into the blender along with some other ingredients. So now I'm going to drain them and rinse them quickly. I used French green lentils, but you can use brown lentils, Umbrian lenticchie, any kind of lentil. Don't use pink lentils, they're soft, so you want one that is going to be a little firmer. Okay, so this is going to go into the blender here. Going to add some garlic. I've got maybe 6 cloves there, about 600 milliliters of water. Going to add some olive oil. So this is olive oil from my trees, maybe 5 or 6 tablespoons of olive oil. Look at that liquid green gold. It's so beautiful. I'm going to add a little nutritional yeast for some cheesy flavor and some salt. And now we're going to blend this until it's nice and creamy. Okay, so now when it's like this, we're going to pour it into a pot and we're going to cook it until it's incredibly thick. Now don't taste it now. After it cooks, you can go ahead and taste it and adjust any seasonings that you want. But right now the beans are uncooked, so you don't want to get a tummy ache. We're just going to keep stirring this, scraping the bottom so it doesn't burn. And as you can see, it starts to thicken up almost immediately. So as you can see, it gets super, super thick. And now I'm going to give it a taste, now that it's bubbling away, and see if I want to adjust the flavor. I can taste the garlic, that's good. So I have some cashew cream left over from another episode. This is not essential, but if you want to make it extra creamy, you could add a little bit of a rich cashew milk or cream. Don't use a store-bought one, which is mainly water. But this will just make it extra creamy and delicious. Okay, so you want it to look nice and smooth and thick like this, and now we're ready to pour it into a container to chill. So I've got a 9 by 13 inch pan here. Spread some of this wonderful liquid gold on the bottom, all around the sides. We're going to pour the lentil polenta in here, and we're going to let it firm up in the refrigerator for a few hours before we cut it and fry it, or air fry it as it will be. Okay, so you want to get it in there before it starts to firm up, and then we're going to have to spread it out into a uniform thickness. Try to get the top as smooth as you can, and you can put a little olive oil on top just so it doesn't completely dry out. And this will help when you air fry it too, getting every last drop of liquid gold out of this bottle. We had so much fun harvesting these olives. Oh my gosh, we had about 30 people. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And I'm so fortunate to have a community press nearby, only 15 minutes from here. And it was fun to stand in a line of cars, everyone dropping off different quantities of olive oil. Some people had maybe 10 pounds, other people had 100. We got 241 pounds of olive oil. And our first harvest, I think next year we will have more. Okay, so that oil will prevent a skin from forming. And now I'm just going to put it in the refrigerator for a few hours to firm up before we cut it and air fry it. Okay, the lentil polenta is ready. It's nice and firm. And I'm going to turn it out. You can leave it in the pan if you like, or you can just flip it out like this to make it easier to cut. I like to cut these into triangles because they're super cute that way. And to do so, I'm going to, first of all, cut them into squares, and then I'll cut the squares in half to get a little triangle. And these are little bites, little appetizers that you can serve for the holidays. If you're going to make this into a main course, into an entree, then you can cut them into larger rectangles instead. And then you can pour whatever sauce you like on top. Let's see, I should have measured this a little better. Actually, I think it's good. All right, each of these little squares will now become a triangle by cutting them in half, like that. So you can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. Then I'm going to put them on an air fryer. Remember, they've got a little bit of oil that I brushed on top, and there's some oil on the bottom as well. And we're going to fry these in the air fryer. If you want to deep fry them, you can do that as well. I find that air frying works just as well. Why not save the calories if you can? So while these are in the oven, I'm going to prepare the topping that I'm going to serve it with, which is going to be this Mediterranean flavors coming from tomatoes and olives with some garlic and some spinach or chard or whatever green vegetable you want to use. What you want is a really moist topping, olive oil and juices from the vegetables running down to moisten the polenta and make it absolutely delicious. So I've got some garlic here, and I just chop that up. And we're going to do a little tomato confit, which means we're going to cook the tomatoes in oil just to sort of start breaking them down, but not completely render them into a sauce. So I'm going to chop some of these up. And we're going to start by cooking the tomatoes and the garlic. I'm going to get my pan hot. Get some olive oil going on in there. Give it a minute for my olive oil to get nice and hot. And I have this on medium-high. And we're just going to cook these until they start to break down. Okay, we're just going to let that sit for a minute, and while we do that, we're going to chop up the other ingredients. All right, I've got a red bell pepper here that I roasted. So I'm going to chop that up, or sliver that. We're going to add some Kalamata olives for some briny flavor, a little bit of acidity, some umami. Just cut these in half. Finally, I have some spinach. Now you can use any green. We're just going to get these to wilt. We are not going to cook them to the point where they're beginning to exude a lot of water. So I'm just going to sliver them, chiffonade them. Not a true chiffonade, a little bit wider. Okay, let me just check on the tomatoes. All right, so they are about ready. And my air fryer is ready. So they're beginning to break down. We don't want them to turn into sauce. So you can take them out of the pan at this point. If you're cooking just a small amount like I am, you could actually just add the spinach to the side. But I don't want my tomatoes to overcook. So I'm just going to take them out. And now I'm going to add the spinach and the other ingredients. We just want this to wilt. We do not want this to overcook and be sitting in a pile of water. So keep the heat high to wilt it, but if you have the heat low, they're going to start oozing out that water. You don't want that. And you don't want to cook it down to nothing either. So there you go. Look at that. That looks beautiful. And then now you can add the tomatoes back in. Give it a stir. And your topping is ready. Just that fast. Okay, I've had them at 350 degrees in my air fryer. It's been going for about 10, 12 minutes. And I'm just going to open them and see how they're doing. And they have puffed up a little bit. The exterior is crispy. That's how you want it. And they do puff up. So I'm going to give it one more minute, and then we're going to top them with our delicious topping. All right. They're crispy on the outside. They're light and fluffy. You do have to serve these hot or warm because as they cool, they get kind of tough and chewy. So these are not something you take to a picnic. They're something that you serve as an appetizer at a party, at a holiday party, a summer party. And now we're gonna top these with a little bit of this topping. You wanna add some nice juicy vegetables on top. Be generous. That flavor from the olive, the tomato confit, the greens. So this is also super healthy. The base is made out of beans, so you're getting fiber, protein. It's a holiday dish that you can feel good about. Oh my God. They look so delicious. I cannot wait to eat one. Oh my God, they're so beautiful and colorful. You've got the green, you've got the yellow and the red and the purple from the Kalamata olives, and they look so juicy and delicious. I let them cool just enough, but they're still warm, which is how you have to have it. And now I'm gonna pop it into my mouth. It's creamy on the inside. It doesn't taste like you're eating a pot of beans. It's just sort of like a creamy, crispy polenta. It's delicious. Oh, that's yummy. I could just keep on eating them. Well, thanks for tuning in again. I hope you give these a try, and let's get some beans back into your diet.